Hello everyone, you're watching Asianetnews, and today I have with me Captain Akhilesh Saxena. He's a decorated Kargil War veteran. He's also a motivational speaker. So Captain Saxena, I'll just give you a background that he sustained severe injuries from enemy shelling during the 1999 Kargil conflict, but he continued with his resilience and courage, as is a symbol for our armed forces. His journey led him from, kind of leading the artillery operation during that time in Kargil War to now when he talks a lot about foreign affairs, relationship between India and Pakistan, how it has evolved over the 25 years of time. So let's begin and talk about the current conflict which is going on between India and Pakistan. So I want to begin by asking you this thing. During the Kargil War, India heavily relied on imported artillery. For example, 155 Bofors FH-77 howitzers. But now India has its own indigenously built systems, for example, BrahMos. How do you see this shift happening in the 25 years?
Yeah. So actually, the terrain of Kargil war, the circumstances of Kargil war, and the weapon use was totally different that time. Yes, that time our defense production was not there, and mostly things were imported outside. I think and if you see after Kargil war, there was a Kargil review committee also, and then there was an emphasis that we should ensure that we have got there our own weapon systems and all. But see, at the time of war, it becomes important. You don't know who is going to supply you spare parts, who is not going to supply you spare parts. Secondly, Kargil was fought in a very limited area, right? Because if you remember, Pakistan has sent some of their army and they have occupied the heights, a particular area, starting from your Dras regions going up to Leh Ladakh. And they were sitting there, and the battle was totally different because they got the first mover advantage. They were sitting on top, their all weapon were pointing towards us, and they have put the mines also because they knew Indian forces will only come from there. And we were anyway fighting a war where chances of victory was not even 1% because we have to carry nearly 45 kg on our back. Despite these bullets coming from enemy on top, we have to go and we have to defeat them. So I think it was just courage and resilience of Indian armed forces, those who have not given. We were also told not to cross the boundary. So that's one major difference right now. Though everyone knew it's a Pakistan army and all, but since they have given the narrative that these are your own terrorists and all, don't cross the boundaries and all, we have not actually crossed the boundary. That was a huge limitation with our armed forces. Otherwise, the right way was to cross the boundary, cut the supply line, come from both the sides, but we were not allowed to do that. So, anyway, despite those constraints, we could win that battle. If I just come to now, what question you asked in terms of, so now we have taken a lot of improvement and done a lot of work in our Make in India initiative and ensuring that our defense system, we are able to at least manufacture a lot of it. I'll still not say all, but and the shining example is Akash, BrahMos, some of the missiles which we have worked. Second, we have also done a lot of collaboration. So if you see this BrahMos, which is this first version was around 25 years back, and then slowly we start working on this and developing it further. So this is with Russia. So BrahMos, and you say it is Brahmaputra River, and Mos is for Moscow. So it's a joint collaboration between these two, and this is very very one of the best missile today in the world in terms of accuracy, in terms of flexibility. It can be launched from any platform. So that's a great example. Second, indigenous things which we have done was working on to Akash. Akash is one of the air defense system which has shown its capability in current conflict, right? It has very accurately intercepted and destroyed most of the enemy target, right? We had a very good umbrella. This was also integrated with S-400, which is the air defense system which we have taken from Russia. But good thing what we were able to do, whatever technology we are taking from outside in air defense like S-400 and our own technology like Akash, we were able to integrate and make a air defense system which is very very potent, and I'll call it best in the world even compared to Iron drone which is used by USA and Israel. It has shown that it is even better than that in terms of their capability, detection and destroying the enemy, it may be aircraft, missile, or any other object. The other thing which we have started working on indigenously is the drone technology, right? And you will see future war, the importance of drone will become more and more important because you don't have to send a man with it, right? It can go, and there are loitering drones and there are other kinds of drone, attack drone, multiple variety. But we started working on this, and Harup, which is one of the which has done a great job, is now built within India also. So I think great progress has been made. I'll not say we have reached where we wanted to be. It's a just a starting of the journey. But I'm sure India will not be able to only make it for ourselves, for our needs, but also will be able to import to many other countries. In fact, Philippines has shown a lot of interest in buying BrahMos from us against top production company. So I think India has started a right direction in defense manufacturing, and I'm sure we are going to be totally self-reliant in time to come.
Right. At this point, I also want to rope in Vishwanath. We have seen that after Kargil war in 1999, the diplomacy take that India took, it was very cautious. But now, after 2025 Pahalgam attack, we saw that India took swift actions. For example, suspension of Indus Waters Treaty. How do you see the difference over there?
Okay, so I think that's a shift in our doctrine, that how do we deal, and that's being reflected because the position now we have in the international arena, right? So now India it's a new India. It's much more confident. It's much more self-reliant, right? In terms of uh, foreign reserves, right? We have got more than $680 billion of foreign reserve, which shows that our economy is doing very well. We are becoming like number four largest economy and going to be number three in time to come. So we definitely made a lot of progress from earlier time, and that's why our strategy, our doctrine to deal with terror or anything has changed a lot. So if you must have seen, it's not only about the kinetic action or the military action, it was also about a multi-pronged approach. So what we have done, we have suspended the Indus Water Treaty, which we have not done even at the time of 1971. But here we were very clear that if you attack our innocent civilians, right, you may be sitting anywhere else, and we will not only hunt down these terrorists, but we will also ensure that we hunt down the masters of this, the real conspirator. Because see, you will not achieve anything by just killing those 5 and 10 terrorists, because Pakistan is now becoming like a terror factory. They will keep sending more. They are not bothered about if you are able to kill those 10, 20, 100 terrorists, because they will keep sending it them. They are not losing anything, and they are keeping a war on India. So that's why the message was very clear. This time we will go to the root cause. It may be your headquarters of your terrorist organization like Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Toiba, which are openly doing this, planning these terror activities from the soil of Pakistan and trying to hurt India, right? So Pakistan has got a policy that to bleed India by 1,000 cuts. So they cannot fight with us one to one. That's why they always get engaged into these kind of activities. And terror is a very important weapon in overall doctrine of strategy of Pakistan. For them, it's a very important assets, and that's why they always use both ISI and this terror organization. So this time we say we will hit you on all fronts. So one example, as you rightly say, was Indus Water Treaty, keeping it an aware. But second was also we have closed all the import to Pakistan, which was going directly or indirectly through Dubai or few other nations. So Pakistan is going to feel the pinch of this. We also trying to just saying that we'll restrict and block the Karachi airport, which is from where the most of the supplies to Pakistan come, both arms and ammunition and other. That's also going to have a lot of impact. Plus, Pakistan is undergoing a lot of economic crisis. They are not even able to do the repayment of their loans, right? Leave about the real loan, but even the interest portion they are not able to pay. And they are always begging to IMF or World Bank just for the survival. You have just seen that they were given a small 1.3 and 1 billion of overall loan, but with lot of conditions. So we say we will hit you economically also, because if you will not have the money to eat, let's see how do you fund the terror organization. And the last step in this was that we will hit in the heartland of Pakistan. Like earlier we just stopped our strikes till the POK, But this time we have hit the infrastructure of terrorists, even if they were in the main Punjab or main Pakistan. So that's a very clear message which our new India is giving, and we told them very clearly that we are only hitting the terrorist infrastructure. If you don't hit that from our side, it is done. But if you, then we will all the right to do that. And if you have seen that Pakistan retaliated, and then we are giving them back in nice and proper way, right? Destroyed their very important airfields and very strategic assets. Yeah,
Namaskar,
back to you.
Akhilesh Saxena ji. I have some questions. One is on Operation Sindoor. Operation Sindoor was launched as a high-intensity, coordinated retaliatory measure by the Indian Army. Again, it was followed by it basically became because of the ceasefire violation that happened after that. Because as you said earlier, we were targeting majorly terrorist hideouts, and we were not targeting any Pakistani military outposts or anywhere. So, how could you shed some light on how this planning and execution of Operation Sindoor usually happens? Like any kind of such operations when they are carried out, how it is done?
Okay, so if you see, this attack was done on 22nd of April, but when we actually launched the strike, this was done on 6th May. See, it takes a lot of planning, and I think our nation has to take a very calibrated and measured step, right? So we were very clear. We don't want to kind of make it into a full-fledged war, because we also want to focus more our economy, our prosperousness, rather than kind of fighting a war. Because any war, even if you hit your enemy hard, there will be some damage on your side also. So we were very clear that we want to keep it, but yes, we will not tolerate any terrorist activities in our soil, and we will give it back to you in a very affirmative way, right? So that there will be no compromise. So that passage was clear. So what was done actually, we have identified the all the infrastructure which is being done by the Pakistan, which was keeping in Pakistan. So if you really see, there are two major terrorist organizations which do most of the activities or these terror activities in India: Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Toiba, right? So their headquarters were picked up, and then some intelligence was gathered that how and all it will be done, and then there was a swift strike which was done within half an hour, right? So there's a lot of preparation which goes. First is about the intelligence, that which are the key headquarters, and obviously it's not done right now, it was going on obviously before that. But identification of target, then once we identify the target, then how do we hit? Do we hit by missile? Do we hit by aircraft? Do we actually go? It's a decision about the weapon of choice, the timing, that what time you want to hit, so enemy does not have any time to react, right? So there are multiple things. Then which formation will do? If it is aircraft, which aircraft will do? Do we use kind of surface to surface missile, or we use air to surface missile? Which all will be done, right? So that's entire planning was, I think, done in the last few days, and we have got a very competent armed forces, where the from the political leadership the entire freedom was given to them in terms of to plan their attack. So I think it was a joint operation between army, navy, and air force. And obviously we totally believed and trust our armed forces that they are ready to make any sacrifice to keep the honor and integrity of the country at high pedestal. So they have planned this and executed it very well, and I think they have actually hit the terrorist infra, not hit any civilian or any other kind of even the armed forces. Our aim was very clear. We are only going to hit the terror network, and that was our message. And I think that we could have done it beautifully in a very measured and calibrated way. We have not we clearly told them we are not going to escalate it, but now choice is with you. If you escalate, then we will give it back to
Based on what you have said so far, I have a follow up on that. See, on Saturday, once Vikram Misri, our foreign secretary, uh, came out and gave out a declaration saying that it's a military understanding and we are going to cease firing from around 5 o'clock. And post that, within an hour and a half, we could actually see a lot of ceasefire violations that happened. So, what can be the implications? Because there's a DGMO meeting that is going to happen, DGMO to DGMO meeting that's going to happen in a while. So, what are the how does this ceasefire violation impact the entire meeting? And what are the conditions you think? I'm just anticipating the kind of conditions which India might actually put out. Whether are we gonna leave water in, or are we gonna change the rules of engagement with them? What is the kind of changes that we can see in this particular meeting?
No, sorry, I think you are confusing. So this, first of all, I'll just talk about the ceasefire. So we never say it's a ceasefire. If you just go and read the word, we say we are stopping all the military actions, land, sea, and air, right? And then the DGMO will again meet on 12th at this thing, and then we will discuss it further, right? So it's not a ceasefire. We are saying right for right now we are just stopping it, right? But obviously, and if you have read, we have also made a cabinet note where we say any act of terror will be treated as an act of war, right? So if any attack, we will not wait even for give a warning to Pakistan. We will directly going to hit in any part of the Pakistan, and I think we have done our groundwork very thoroughly. So that's one part of it. Now about the ceasefire violation. So there is a lot of difference between a political system of Pakistan and Pakistan army. It's not like India, where the army and the political leadership work very closely, jointly, and not there's a difference of even one single iota, right? You could see that all the briefing and all very well kind of coordinated. Now, what happens, even if political hierarchy say, okay, we have done a ceasefire, by the time it reaches up to their top brass in army, they pass down the order, the situation in the ground continue. For that, somebody who is sitting there on a post and he is told after this, you have to put 5 more drones, that will continue. And second, India also damaged their network system. So I think it may took some time to get this information. Because if you remember, this announcement itself was done in the evening, right? And then say it's effective from 5 o'clock. But by that time, I think my view is by the time it has reached, there was some difference. So that's why, then DGMO immediately sent a very strict message, stern message to Pakistan that you were the one who came for the ceasefire, right? You wanted to stop the military action, and see this is still happening, and if does not stop immediately, we are going to hit you hard. So that message was given loud and clear same day, and you must have seen within 2 hours and all. I think by that time it has reached, then it was stopped, and since then there is nothing. And see, India is not asking for ceasefire, right? We are ready to take the next action. It is Pakistan who came begging because they had no choice. So we are anyway okay to kind of take it to the next level. And your last question about the meeting, I think they are not going to discuss the Indus Water Treaty, because see, you need to understand this is a meeting between DGMO. Who is DGMO? DGMO is military spokesperson. They are going to talk about the military operation, but your non-kinetic action are like water treaty and all, they will be discussed at a separate platform. Here I don't think they are going to see Pakistan. Obviously they are very keen to discuss this, because India very clearly told you that this treaty is in evidence and we will decide terms and reference and all. But India, in my view, is not going to discuss anything about the Indus water in this meeting, which is going to happen at 12 o'clock. It is only about stopping all these some of these activities, which military activities from both the side. And obviously India will keep some demand that we should not see any terror activities, and Pakistan has to show the proof on the ground. Just by saying will not be suffice. And I think India has given a very clear indication that if it happens, so there's no ceasefire from our side. I think if you read the statement yesterday, chief of army staff have given the full empowerment to all the army commander, including the Western Army commander, to take immediate step in case of any escalation from the side of Pakistan. So Operation Sindoor is not, it's not in ceasefire. These military actions are just being stopped temporarily, and then we will decide based on what Pakistan does. We will not make a first strike now, but if anything comes from Pakistan, it will be giving back to them.
Captain Saxena, I want to come in at this point and taking a cue from your answer only about Definitely DJMO's meeting, we are not going to see talks about Indus Waters
I think so.
Treaty. But, this treaty was signed in 1960 after 9 years of negotiations between India and Pakistan with the help of World Bank. Now this conflict has arisen, and India is completely saying that it's not going to change its stance as of now. So how do we see the renegotiations happening? First of all, if it happens, do you see, as per reports, we are seeing that World Bank does not have the power to intervene in this. So what kind of negotiations can we anticipate in the future?
So, see, Pakistan made this terror attack, and after that, India made this decision. Anyway, this particular treaty is very, very partial. And there was a clause in the treaty that it can be renegotiated if there is a basic change in the demography or there is one anything which has changed. So for 60, from 60 it is what, 65 years, right? So there's a lot of things which have changed. If you see, this treaty is anyway very discriminatory. The 80% of the water, which is 180 million cubes water, which through this particular Indus rivers network of Indus river, 80% of it goes to Pakistan. India can use only 20%. Second, there was a lot of restriction. If you don't know, Pakistan has objected to a lot of dams and all which India was making to his side as a part of this treaty. So anyway, this treaty was very, very discriminatory and it was up for review. Now we have given the message that if you are doing the terror activities, then we cannot keep giving you the water, right? Charity cannot be done if you are kind of shedding blood on our side. So that's very clear. I don't think for some time at least India is going to review this treaty. Till that time, we clearly see the proof from the Pakistani side that they are serious about stopping and non-sponsoring the terror business. Once it is done, then obviously both the country can come onto the negotiating table, make the appropriate amendment, and then this there can be another treaty. But till the time, this issue of terror is closed once for all, and I think it's very difficult for Pakistan because their army, their ISI, and their terrorists, they are hand in glove. So it will be very difficult for them to say that we will stop this or actually show it on ground. Till that time, I don't think there is going to be any negotiation on Indus Water Treaty.
Uh, just closing question from my side, sir. You have been a veteran of Kargil War 1999, and you know it best. Who else can we talk to when we talk about India-Pakistan conflict? Uh, tell us a little bit about soldiers' morale from that time to now, because now India is building indigenously. We are increasing our defense production. We have higher budget than before. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is always backing the armed forces, always holding meetings, always ensuring, and definitely, as we saw in Russia-Ukraine war as well, he saw that war. This is not the era of war. So just tell us a little bit about the morale of the soldiers from that time till now.
So morale of the soldiers was very high during the Kargil war, where the conditions were much tougher than they are today, right? Today we are on the same ground, right? We can hit Pakistan, they can retaliate and we can hit. That time everything was against us, right? I have just described the conditions to them. But see, it is Indian army and irrespective of any political party, their oath, their allegiance is to the nation first, right? So they are very, very clear about the nation that we are going to protect. And if you, I just mentioned that when we pass out from IMA, we take a oath. The honor, welfare, and safety of my country will come first, always and every time. The men whom I command and my colleagues, their safety, their honor, their welfare will come next, always and every time. And my own honor, my own welfare and safety will come last, always and every time. So I think, the morale of Indian Armed Forces was very high despite all the constraint that time. And it is very high today also, right? Definitely in terms of when we started making the systems and different equipments indigenously, that will help us, that will give us more confidence to deal with enemy in our own terms. We are not dependent on third party to give us the spare part, and then we should not go begging to them. So I think that has definitely helped. And the morale of the army, armed forces are definitely very high. And if you've seen in this war, the all the briefing, you could see the kind of confidence, you could see the kind of calibration and measured response they have given. It's not like Pakistan media, which is, always keep telling any lie to their nation. Here, we were very transparent and we have given everything to media and to our country to keep them informed. So I think, it's very high and it will remain high. I think you should have a full trust on your armed forces that till the time they are there on the border, we can sleep peacefully at our home.
And as you said in one of your motivational talks as well, that a soldier's greatest weapon is adaptability. So definitely from Kargil war till now, it's going to be the same when we talk about soldiers' morale. So thank you so much, Captain Saxena, for speaking with Asianet News. Thanks a lot, and we look forward what DJMO's meeting will come out with, and will hold more such discussions. Thank you once again.
Thanks a lot. Jai Hind.